Surf Tech YouTube channel, coming live from Belmar Beach. On this episode, I have my guest host, Curran Iglay. Curran?
Yeah, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you. Today we're going to be going over the Lost Rad Ripper. Curran, one of your favorite boards?
Favorite board I've ever had, by far, yeah.
Curran, a little bit about yourself.
I'm 6'0", I'm like 145, roughly.
Okay. And skill level?
I'd say I'm pretty good at surfing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Washed up pro, maybe?
You all can watch the clips. Curran rips. I would definitely put you up there in that advanced, high advanced level.
Not beginner.
Yeah, definitely far from beginner, above intermediate.
Yeah.
And which Rad Ripper do you ride?
I ride the Lightspeed stock 5'8".
So if you're a returning viewer, I'm James Margetis. You know my height and weight, but if you're a new viewer, I am 5'11", 185 to 190 pounds, upper end intermediate, and I ride the stock 5'10", which is 5'10", 20, 2 7/16, and it's 31.5 liters, which is right around, like, typically I ride everything 30 to 32 liter shortboardish. Attributes of this board: it is a modern twist on an 80s outline, so it has that beaked nose, has a nice hip in the tail, flat deck with tapered down rails, and I would say the rails on this are actually a lot more high performance than a regular 80s shape.
Definitely.
It's a concave bottom. I think it starts with a single, goes into a double with V out the tail, and a lot of small wave shapes have that V out the tail, loosens it up, get a little bit more release.
Yeah, one thing I like about it is how I usually ride like 5'8" or 5'10" generally, but like the thickness and the paddle power you get from it, you can like kind of shrink it down.
Yeah.
And just ride a smaller board, but it feels like your normal shortboard.
Definitely, yeah. I was gonna say I normally ride like 5'11", 6'0", 6'1", depending on overall shape of it.
Yeah, you can ride it much smaller than you think.
Definitely, yeah. So I've scaled down maybe 2 to 3 inches, I'd say, off your like normal shortboard. Depending on skill level too, and then obviously width and thickness play a factor.
It's all variable, yeah.
Yeah, I would say you want to definitely be around the same thickness, maybe an eighth thinner in it, just because that deck is flat and it hides a lot of foam in it.
It is really flat.
I was lucky enough to ride the Lightspeed stock and the PU stock dimensions to really compare them, and I actually got the Lightspeed one first and really liked it. Like the first day I got on it, it felt like one of the fastest boards I've been on. Then I got on the PU. I actually liked it a little bit more in like general Jersey conditions. A little bit more snappy in the PU. It was a little stiffer, I would say. I think the Lightspeed flexes a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you like that flex, it's good. But I rode it in the wave pool, the Lightspeed, and that was like the best wave pool board.
Yeah, the Lightspeed is really, really buoyant.
Yeah.
Like the amount of planing speed you get, like paddling and just like on takeoffs is like insane.
Yep.
And generates so much speed out of like nothing.
What fins do you ride in yours?
When it's generally, I ride the Jordy Smith Futures. Those are like my go-to fins all the time, but if it gets a little bigger and I feel like switching my fins, I'll put in the John Johns.
Okay.
But generally, I usually just ride the Jordy Smith Futures.
Large?
Those like mediums.
Mediums?
Yeah.
145 you ride mediums.
Yeah, I ride medium Jordy Smith fins are like my favorite fin ever.
Yeah, so that's a raked template.
There's a lot of raking in it.
Yeah, which I like in this board too. When I first got on it, I actually rode the Matt Bailos fin, and it was really good, which is more of a neutral template. And I think it's actually a really similar template to the John Johns, which is funny you say that because the only 2 fins I ride in it are the MB fin, the Matt Bailos fins, and the Al-Americ fins.
Yeah, the only fins I really ride are the John Johns and the Jordies.
What do you think this board does well? What are the moments it shines?
Well, it does really well in like anything from like this big to overhead. Like I've ridden it in like big waves where like big enough where I'm like I probably shouldn't be riding this, and like but also like today you could go out there and do check turns and stuff when it's like half a foot.
Yep.
Like you can just generate so much speed out of like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it still does hold in bigger surf.
Yeah, and like you can get a lot of speed on that thing on a big wave is like so fun. You can just get
so fast,
so much speed, so easily, and like it's really good for doing like big airs and stuff. Not that I land them, but
it's funny. Chloe Andino actually rides this board at like small Huntington and contests. That's
Yeah.
like a small wave competition board.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they took the new model, that Ripper. They kind of were like, all right, he's riding the Rad Ripper in contests. How can we make like a more contest-oriented board off of the Rad Ripper? So things I think it does well. Paddle, obviously, like.
Yeah, paddling's insane.
Paddling's insane. You could paddle into anything
Get
on it.
planing speed like so easily.
Yeah, it carries that thickness all the way up through the nose, and it has the beaked nose. Paddles really well. I think it's a loose enough board when you need it to be. Like, you can release it well, but it holds also in larger surf. Like you're not sliding out on the face.
Yeah, like if you know how to ride it, it does whatever you want.
Right, right. That wing tail as well. Like, you're obviously squatting down the board, so you're riding it a little wider. Like, in a 510, I normally ride like 19 3/4. So, going 20 wide, I was like, is that going to be too wide? But with the wing and the tail, that tail's still pulled in, like almost like a high performance shortboard.
Yeah, yeah, it is a really high performance board. Like, I've done things on that board that I'll probably never be able to do on anything else.
Yeah, I would say it likes the air too.
Yeah, it definitely likes the air.
This board got me more stoked. Like, I don't try airs a lot, but this board got me stoked to start trying airs again.
I get really stuck on airs because I'll go out and I'll only try airs, but like, that thing's really good for doing. Like doing them is one thing, but landing them is another. Like, that thing's so easy to land on. Like, it's so stable and like wide. It just, like, if you have the right wave, the right section, like, you can land things that you wouldn't think you could.
Things it does well, it's ultimate shortboard for 1 to 6 foot.
Yeah, 1 to 6 or 7 foot. It's like,
yeah, I'd say I brought it out a couple 7-foot days.
Yeah, like, especially with it's so versatile. Like, there's really nothing bad about it.
I guess another thing it does well too, versatility. I've rode it as a thruster, rode it as a quad, rode it as a 2+1. Don't prefer any over the other, so to speak. I guess.
It's just
least favorite would almost be thruster, but it's still an amazing thruster.
Yeah. I've only ridden it with a quad a couple times and I loved it, but I'm just like not a huge quad guy.
Yeah.
But when I did ride it with a quad, I was like, I really enjoyed it.
So I put a quad in the last summer swell we had, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, so fast down the line, still ripped through turns. Yeah. No hang-ups. What were the conditions like when you rode?
It was like 4 foot, like, draining barrels at Jenks. Like, just barrels into air sections. And it was like, it was amazing. Just going backside, I could not figure out how to ride it backside with a quad. It was weird. It would just go, just lock in, go straight, and then I just didn't know what to do with all the speed, you know?
Yep. Yeah, without that center fin too, like, a kind of different pivot point.
Yeah, just, you have to, like, you need more time to, like, do turns and stuff with a quad backside. But frontside, it was unreal.
1 to 3 foot as a 2+1 thing was magic.
Yeah.
It was so insane. It's just fun, like, I don't know, getting a board like this and being able to take it out whenever and, like, just know you're going to have fun. Like,
yeah, this has been, like, my go-to board for, like, I've probably had this board for over a year now. And I put my boards through hell. And it's like, this board's been through a lot and I love it. Yep. And once it breaks, I'm just going to get an exact replica because it's all I need.
Yeah. It's the only thing
you need. As far as, like, spring to fall goes, spring, summer, fall is all I need.
Would you say for Jersey that's a good one-board quiver?
Yeah. I definitely would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for barrels, turns, and airs. What else could you ask for? I'm not super gentle with my boards, and like, there's been times where I've been underwater, I'm like, oh cool, my board's broken, and it's still somehow not.
You've rode it a lot. Does it feel any more dead now compared to when you first got on it?
Honestly, not really. Like, I'm pretty aware of like how my boards feel, and this thing feels as good as it did when I got it.
Right. Some things I didn't like were in real big barrels that aren't like lined up down the beach barrels.
Yeah.
It was like almost too fast to get barreled.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
I'm like dropping in and getting so much speed and I like can't even slow myself down to get barreled. But like with that speed, you could just come up and just rip as hard as you wanted off the top. So
I second that too, actually. It is hard, like if it's not like a big section in front of you that you're pulling into, it's hard to like slow down.
Yes. Yeah, it's just all that up front.
Yeah,
It just wants to take off as soon as you get up.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, that was really the only gripe I had with it.
Yeah, but that's a good problem to have, though,
Yeah.
I guess.
My board's too fast to get barreled, so I'm just going to go
Yeah.
for huge turns.
Yeah.
But if you backdoor a section,
Yeah, if you have a big section in front of you, you can just stand there and just...
and you have the confidence that you know you're going to, like,
more
pull through.
Yeah. It also depends on the waves and stuff, but it's definitely hard to, like, stall for barrels.
Yeah.
But if it's a big section in front of you, you can just take one pump and just, like, stand there.
Definitely.
And you're good.
Do you think that this board would be good for beginner?
I wouldn't say beginner, but, like, it's definitely good, like, a next step if you're, like, your first shortboard or something, because it's pretty user-friendly, but, like, I wouldn't want to get pushed into waves on it.
Right.
But it's definitely pretty user-friendly, I would say.
I think it definitely has a very user-friendly package. All the foam, all the float, like we were touched on the stability of it.
Mm-hmm.
Flat deck, really stable. It's a little bit wider. Do I, like, beginner intermediate surfer, I don't think is going to get the most out of this board.
Yeah, but
it's a good option.
It's a good way to, like, figure it out. Yeah, it's stable and buoyant, which is all you really need. Like, they're not going to be able to rip on it probably, but going from, like, a soft board to this would be a pretty good idea.
It's a jump, right?
Yeah, it's a good jump.
I think once you do get that, you're not going to find yourself longing for another type of shortboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, a lot of times people step off a longboard, a softy, to a fishier shape or a fun shape, smaller, like mid-length.
Yeah, then once you get stuck on that, you can't really, like, this is so different.
Then they want to go to a shortboard where if you go to this, I think you're just like, oh man, this is it forever.
Yeah.
We're married.
Yeah.
Married the board.
Yeah. I'd definitely marry this thing.
Yeah. So I think beginner, good, like, stepping down after learning. Not a good first board, so to speak, if you're just getting into surfing, but a good first shortboard.
Yeah, definitely a good, like, next step.
Intermediate, advanced, like my skill level, board's amazing. I love it and everything. Mm-hmm. And then pro level, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't think of anything bad to say about it, really, except I only have one.
Yeah, and I mean, Chloe's riding them in heats.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you like fast board, loose, good release, but also has hold and heavier, more
very predictable.
Right, yeah, very predictable. I guess once you get in the pro level, someone who might not like it would be someone riding, like, the most high performance shapes.
Yeah, but I'm not into those shapes, like super narrow boards. So, like,
especially being on the East Coast, it's harder to ride those shapes.
It's perfect for here.
I think East Coast, amazing daily driver, one board quiver. It's got all that.
Yeah,
I think California.
It's a good board to just keep in the back of your truck.
Yeah, if you're on the West Coast, I think it's a great option as well.
Yeah.
A lot of those flatter face waves.
Totally.
Huntington Beach. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Curran, awesome having you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, if you haven't already, you can subscribe. You can click down here, hit that subscribe button. Check us out. Turn on notifications if you want to see when we're coming out with new episodes. Mm-hmm. And other than that, big thanks to Curran.
Yeah.
Big thanks. Lost his awesome board.
Yeah, it's not how you stand by your board, it's how you ride it.
Again, a huge shout out to Morgan Downs for always making this possible.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap. Thank you.
Yeah.